Hello, and welcome to A Chapter a Day. It is Thursday, January 8th, and yesterday we read chapter 38. So, as usual, and I did check my channel yesterday and today. Thank you again for the views. They are always welcome. And again, I'd always add questions and comments are also very welcome. So, just to review our chapter for yesterday before we read our chapter 39 of Genesis for today. So, yesterday we read about Judah. He is the son of Leah, Jacob's son, and they're giving the account after he and his brothers did this deceptive thing of selling, selling their brother instead of killing him. I guess that was kind of merciful. And then deceiving the father with his coat dipped in goat's blood, like he was killed by some sort of wild animal. Again, I would always say, that saying, what goes around comes around. Deception seems to run in this family really, really strongly. So here we go again, another deception. So he has three sons. The first of which, I think his name was, let's see. So it says he had this Canaanite woman that he had children by. Her name was Shua. And then she bare a son called She bore another son called Onan, and then another son called Shelah. So that was three sons. And apparently, took a wife called Tamar, and he was wicked in God's sight. I'm not sure how wicked he was, but God destroyed him. He must have been really bad. And then, as the custom was, his brother had to come in and take up his wife and bear children with her. But his brother just didn't think that was the right thing to do. I'm not sure. Maybe that was a time when, he was beginning to rethink this custom. So he spilled, as we all know what that means, adults, and God was not pleased with him either. So he slew him also. That's two children of Judah that was slain. So the last son, Shelah, must have been very young at that time. But as the custom was, he was supposed to also take the wife of these two that somehow did not have children still. And apparently the father kind of told the woman to go ahead, I guess that's Tamar, to go ahead and go back to her home. She was, wherever she was from, and wait there until Shelah came of age. But apparently, I'm not sure if Judah forgot or he was hoping she forgot, but Shelah came of age, but he did not go to take Tamar as a wife. So what she did, she kind of set up Judah. Yeah, she set him up. She pretended to be a harlot. We all know what a harlot is. Another word in our terms would be prostitute. So she dressed with a veil over her face, stood in a place where she knew he'd be passing. I guess he was doing some sort of business, okay? And he saw her in the way. His wife had died. So now that he sees her, he asked if he can come in onto her. And she's, of course, asking for payment. So he apparently maybe didn't have anything. So he promised her a kid, which is like a young goat, possibly. And she agrees. So he has to get the kid and send it to her. So she asked him for like a surety. So what am I going to hold? Like collateral. What am I going to hold on to until you bring this or send this kid for me? So she took three things. His signet, which I believe is something in a ring, his bracelets, and his staff. So those three things she was holding on to until he made good on the payment. She could have been a banker or something. But anyway, after a while, he sent his friend Hira the Adullamite to give her this kid that he had pledged or promised. But he couldn't find, Hira couldn't find this woman. And he asked the men, and they said, we don't know about any harlot in this place. So he went back to Judah and told Judah, hey, I can't find her. So Judah said, okay, fine. Hey, let it be known that we tried to pay her, but we couldn't find her. So now 3 months has passed, and by now Tamar is beginning to show. So the rumor starts. She's not married. Why is she pregnant? You know how we do. And it's found out that Tamar was playing the harlot. Literally. Okay. So now Judah is so enraged. You're right. He is now saying that she should be killed. But before that can be carried out, she sends the 3 things that he gave her as a pledge: the signet, the bracelets, and the staff. And she asks, whose are these? Whoever these belong to, it is by him that I am of child. When he saw those, that shut him up good, because he realized those were his things. And he had to realize that, well, he said she was more honorable than he was, because at least she held on to those things until her payment, but he never gave his son. So in the end, I'm not sure if he ever gave his son, but she was already pregnant, so I guess they didn't need to do anything more. So she had, very similar to like Esau and Jacob, this situation in her womb where she was having twins. And one put his hand out, and the midwife thought, oh yeah, he's gonna be the first one. Let me tie a scarlet thread. I guess that was to know he was the first one. But then he withdrew his hand, and then out came another one, and he was called Phares. And the second one, the one with the scarlet thread on his hand, came out after, and his name was called Zerah. Now, I don't know the significance of these names. I think I have seen Phares' name mentioned somewhere later on in the Bible, but I cannot vouch exactly where and in what context. But, wow, that is the story from chapter 38. My goodness. And you know, Jesus came out of the line of Judah. Okay. Chapter 39. And Joseph was brought down to Egypt, and Potiphar, an officer of Pharaoh, captain of the guard, an Egyptian, bought him of the hands of the Ishmaelites, which had brought him down thither. And the Lord was with Joseph, and he was a prosperous man, and he was in the house of his master, the Egyptian. And his master saw that the Lord was with him, and that the Lord made all that he did to prosper in his hand. And Joseph found grace in his sight, and he served him, and he made him overseer over his house, and all that he had he put into his hand. And it came to pass on the time that he had made him overseer in his house, and over all that he had, that the Lord blessed the Egyptian's house for Joseph's sake. And the blessing of the Lord was upon all that he had in the house and in the field. And he left all that he had in Joseph's hand, and he knew not aught he had, save the bread which he did eat. And Joseph was a goodly person and well favored. And it came to pass after these things that his master's wife cast her eyes upon Joseph. And she said, Lie with me. But he refused, and said unto his master's wife, Behold, my master wotteth not what is with me in the house, and he hath committed all that he hath to my hand. There is none greater in this house than I. Neither hath he kept back anything from me but thee, because thou art his wife. How then can I do this great wickedness and sin against God? And it came to pass, as she spake to Joseph day by day, that he hearkened not unto her to lie by her or to be with her. And it came to pass about this time that Joseph went into the house to do his business, and there was none of the men of the house there within. And she caught him by his garment, saying, Lie with me. And he left his garment in her hand and fled and got him out. And it came to pass, when she saw that he had left his garment in her hand and was fled forth, that she called unto the men of her house and spake unto them, saying, See, he hath brought in an Hebrew unto us to mock us. He came in unto me to lie with me, and I cried with a loud voice. And it came to pass, when he heard that I lifted up my voice and cried, that he left his garment with me and fled and got him out. And she laid up his garment by her until his Lord came home. And she spake unto him according to these words, saying, The Hebrew servant which thou hast brought unto us came in unto me to mock me. And it came to pass, as I lifted up my voice and cried, that he left his garment with me and fled out. And it came to pass, when his master heard the words of his wife, which she spake unto him, saying, After this manner did thy servant to me, that his wrath was kindled. And Joseph's master took him and put him into the prison, a place where the king's prisoners were bound, and he was there in the prison. But the Lord was with Joseph, and showed him mercy, and gave him favor in the sight of the keeper of the prison. And the keeper of the prison committed to Joseph's hand all the prisoners that were in the prison, and whatsoever they did there, he was the doer of it. The keeper of the prison looked not to anything that was under his hand, because the Lord was with him, and that which he did, the Lord made it to prosper. My goodness. Amazing accounts of our ancestors. These are the people we came from. We know not which ones, but we came from some one of them, God knows. So, as we go on, well, I hope you have heard something, and if you did, please feel free to comment or send a question, whatever you wish. And until then, thank you for viewing once again. Until the next reading. Bye.